All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my comfy corner where I talk about things that make me comfy and cozy so I can stop bothering the people around me. And today, you're not reading the title screen wrong. However, I don't know when I'm uploading this because I am in a recording mood today. So I want to get as much stuff that I want to talk about before the end of the year out while I can. If excuse me, if what I'm talking about in this video, I end up changing location and clothes, no, I didn't. You're just hallucinating. But today I'm talking about the Game Awards. I feel like I should have done it last year, and but like life and stuff was going on. So this year, while I can, I want to give my thoughts on the Game Awards because I have been watching it for the past couple of years and I have my thoughts, I have my things to say. So I'll be going category by category and talking about who I voted for and why and who actually won. I think we all knew that this was the Clear Obscure year, and I'm so happy for them. They really showed out, they really popped out and showed people what they were made of, and I will get into all of that when I get into the full effect of the video. But Wii U spoiler: if you have not watched the Game Awards and know who won, now's your time to pause the video and watch it. I know it's 3 hours, but look at the highlight clips. I know that people have made them. This is not that. Another thing, I will not be talking about the game trailers that have happened. I will solely only be talking about the games and the game categories. So if you wanted to see and or hear my reactions on that, maybe I'll make a video about it if y'all tell me to. Because some of the trailers were actually really cool and I have my own thoughts and feelings about them and my own excitements about them. But that will not be in this video. Other housekeeping things. What I say are my opinions and my opinions only. If you have different opinions, great. That's what humans are. That's what people are. Please be nice in the comments. I really don't want people to be like, oh, you just hate Claire Obscure because you don't get it. It's cinema. I get it. I get it. I get that I don't get it. And I appreciate y'all. But I'm allowed to have my thoughts and still respect the winner because I do think that they deserved every single award that they got. But I'm allowed to also say that, hey, I think my faves are also great too. Okay? Peace and love, harmony. Great. Now that we got that settled, let's get into the categories. All right. So I'm going to go in the order of the official Game Awards website. I actually quite like this layout because it not only shows you who won, but also what I voted when I placed my vote. Now, there was one category that I skipped because I felt like I wasn't knowledgeable enough to vote and I didn't want to just pity vote anybody. But also know I know I gave my little disclaimer before. Just because I'm talking about a game does not mean that I 100% completed that game or I played the game itself, but I actually did my research and know what goes on in the game and stuff. Just because there are a couple of horror games here that I know that I won't play. And also this will be a little mini rant and I swear I'll get into the categories. I feel like sometimes people aren't courageous enough or bold enough in the gaming community to say that they just don't get a game. Like they just can't accept that a game is not meant for them. Like imagine someone being loving every single genre of every single game and then being so strongly with it. You don't have time for that. No one has the time enough to play every single genre of every single game and love each and every bit of it and play all the games and love it. That's just not how we're meant. That's just not us. There are going to be things that you don't like, and that is okay. That does not mean that that fandom is trash or stupid for liking this type of game or that sort of game. It just means it's not for you. And so I would like to say, one, I feel like we as gamers need to embrace not understanding something but appreciating the hype and the love that other people have for it. Just because you don't enjoy the game does not mean everybody has to hate the game now, is what I'm trying to say. And also just because that sort of game is not your sort of playstyle or something that you would enjoy does not mean that you can't love the fandom for the lore and the story and see other people play and enjoy their experience. That's what YouTube gaming was all about back in the day, I thought. So I would like to also put a disclaimer that if I'm talking about certain games that I have not actively played, or when I say things like it's not a game for me, I'm saying that as a personal thing for me. Like I would never play a horror game, never ever ever. But can I understand the masterpiece of Life is Strange or Stranger Things or the horror girls in Strange or Resident Evil for that matter? Could I still appreciate that for other people and hear about their thoughts and opinions and see the cinematography of it all? Sure, that's great. It is an amazing franchise. Have your fun. Not for me, but still appreciate it and can still critique it positively and negatively because of that. I'm putting these mini log disclaimers because I know that few people are watching my videos now, but maybe in the grand scheme of things in the future, more people end up watching it. And I just want to get ahead of certain conversations because the gaming community and where it's at right now scares me. It's always been scary for a girl, let alone a minority girl, let alone a black girl. But it's getting real spooky out here. And the ball and gun girlies, they have been the most vocal, which is crazy because I'm like, I don't know how you could afford to be that vocal with all the microtransactions that you pay for, but you didn't hear that from me. Anyways, we are on to the gaming categories, and enough of the preamble. The first category that is up on the website is Game of the Year. Really wanting to let that be said and let that be known. What I will say about the Game Awards as well, it was very clearly the Clear Obscure Awards. Like I ain't never seen them open up the Game Awards with a whole orchestral of a nominee before that just got here. Like Clear Score came out this year. It'd be different if it's like, oh, this was a game that came out last year. We're paying homage to it. No, they really came out the gate like, we know that what you're here for. Clear Obscure is going to clear. It's going to. They didn't even do that when Baldur's Gate was clearly going to sweep. And okay, I have so much to say. I have so much to say. But let me get into the Game Awards before I go into this category. Before I go into my other rant, which I'm going to do because that's what you guys sign up for in my video. But focus. So clearly the winner of the game of the year was Clear Obscure Expedition 33. And so for those that who have clicked on this video and do not know anything about games or about the Game Awards this year and do not know who and what Clear Obscure Expedition 33 is, don't worry because I am doing my best to keep up with the beautiful story to the best of my ability as someone who did not play it and will probably not play it, but think it is a gorgeous game. Think it is a beautiful game and a beautiful story on how this game has been made. And this is the first one out of this company. But I will give you just a heads up. And also, you're going to be hearing me say Expedition 33 and or Clear Obscure a lot. Just know that I'm talking about the same game. Basically, you are somebody because the characters change, the main characters change as well. Spoilers, I think. But you are trapped in a world where there is this creator who every year reduces the number by one. And so let's say we started off at 100, right? Once she goes down to 99, everybody that is the age of 99 dies, and no one lives to see that age of 99. So each year it keeps reducing until now the game starts. We are at year 34, and the painter, I think she's called, reduces it down to 33, which means that everybody that is 34 has now died, and now nobody can reach the age of 34. And so each year, since this has been going on, there's been an expedition of people who are going to die in the next year uh, to go and venture off and try to convince the painter to stop or to fight the painter so no one dies another year, essentially. So that's what the expedition is. I'm really hacking this explanation. Please go on YouTube to other people who are better at this, but this is my hand me down version. Now, what I will say is the game is gorgeous. The game is just straight up gorgeous. The storytelling of it all, even with me very badly explaining it, is very emotional. Really, really great. It is a story of grief. It is a story of loss. It is a story of hope for the future. It is a story about moving on versus staying where you're at. Reliving versus living anew. It touches on so many beautiful human themes and emotions that just off rip story wise, I think automatically was a great winner. That coupled with the beautiful, gorgeous animations, the beautiful, gorgeous score. Oh my goodness. Like the orchestral versions, even though they have an orchestral version for the game itself, but the orchestra version on the Game Awards, if you don't watch the full Game Awards, please listen to the two orchestral versions of Claire, I think three technically, but please listen to the orchestral versions of Clear Obscure and the live vocals of it all because it is truly amazing. It is truly gorgeous. Gorgeous game, gorgeous gowns. But the other big thing that people are very hype about when it comes to Clear Obscure is apparently the team is created of ex Ubisoft employees. Ubisoft has been really going on a downward spiral and they really want to keep a formula. And so these creators are like, hey, we have this really great idea. Clear Obscure is one of them. And I'm saying one of them because this is a gaming company. This is a I would like to say indie company, but I also sometimes indie and small company intertwine. So I will say indie company, but if it is more considered a small company given how they are made up, then I will concede to that because I understand. But the employees basically were just like, hey, we want to make this game. And Ubisoft was like, you're not sticking to the formula. We don't want you to make this game. We don't want creativity. We don't want to take any chances. We just like making the same slop every year and people are going to eat it up. And so the people who brought this idea decided to leave said company. A lot of the people in the group are actually ex-employees of Ubisoft and some from people around the world. And so they left and made their own company, and this was their breakout game. So they will be making more games, but just this alone probably funds them for the next 20 plus years because my God, was this a big seller? And my God, was this not a cultural phenomenon in the gaming community? So basically, think of Clear Obscure slash Expedition 33 as the Shrek of the gaming world, right? Like, this is the DreamWorks story of it all, where like ex Disney employees decided to make their own company and make like the biggest movie of the year as their breakout movie, and they should have listened to them, right? So it was a big FU to Ubisoft as well, even though they didn't say it. And another thing that I love about the team, one, that they were able to leave and take a risk on themselves and follow and pursue their passion and then be right and then make a quality game that gamers actually like versus what corporations think people want to play, which are two very different things. But also, I love that because what tends to happen for the Game Awards, and this is no teach no shade to anybody else because it can be very expensive when you have people from across the country. The Game Awards are held in the US. So it can be very hard to afford for your entire team of people who worked on that one game to be at the Game Awards. But it's really sad because most of the time the people that are at the Game Awards and or accepting the awards are like the directors or the publishers or like the CEOs, right? It's very rarely the people that actively made the game or designed it or was like ground floor there. And so what I thought was just so beautiful was that the entire company, what looks like the entire company, I'm pretty sure all of them were there. They just had rows, sections of them, and then most of them dressed up as one of the characters in the game who has a French. This is a French based company, by the way. If you did not know, Ubisoft is a French company. A lot of other companies are French. TNT Games is a French company. Gamehouse Games is a French company. France has been doing the underground work for a lot of years, and maybe I'll make a video about that. But I'm saying that to say it was such a gorgeous and beautiful and even emotional at time moment to see everybody that put their life on the line, that put their money on the line, that probably put a lot of things at risk for this idea and this passion, and for it to not only be a success, but such a success that it beat out some I will say this year was not as bad as competition as Baldur's Gate, and I will get to it when I get to it. I will have a whole Baldur's Gate ramble and rant probably at the end of the video. But it was just so gorgeous to see everybody who has worked on this, to the voice actors, to the animators, to the designers, to the musicians, all there, all in unison, and be able to accept the awards for the categories to which they themselves worked on, and have their own moment to speak and have their own moment to be on the stage and shine. That was such a gorgeous moment, and it really put hope into my heart that, a lot more of these indie companies and people who wanted to make games or still want to, right? I wanted to make games at one point in time, and life and stuff happened, and that's perfectly fine, and I'm happy where I'm at now. But I think it really gives inspiration that there are other gaming companies out there than the big ones, and you could still follow your dreams, and it may work out and it may not, but just it was such a beautiful and emotional moment. So I think that's my biggest Clear Obscure diatribe, if I'm using that word right. But all the congrats to you guys. All the congrats to Clear Obscure Expedition 33. It is a gorgeous game. It is a gorgeous company with a gorgeous mindset. And I can't wait to see what else comes out from them. I can't wait to see what other games they make. And I hope that they keep those core values. I hope they don't let other people in other companies try to monopolize them or strong arm them because they deserve it. And you have a whole community backing you. So very, very gorgeous, very, very gorgeous team. Love it. They deserved every award. I'm going to say their name a lot more, but I'm not going to go into this rant like I did. And I'm saying that to say I did not vote for Claire Obscure. I actually voted for Donkey Kong Bonanza. And so I say that to say I still believe everything that I just said. However, I'm voting for the game that I enjoyed the most personally, and I will not be bullied into choosing a game that, although again, deserves it, that I didn't actually play. And again, I knew it was going to win anyway, but I love Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think it's also a very gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful gown game. A lot of the people were. Let me say the other nominees before I go into my Donkey Kong rant. Actually, we have Death Stranding 2 on the beach. There were some thoughts and opinions about Death Stranding being on here. Um, I Again, Death Stranding's one of those fear of things where that's just not my cup of tea of gaming, but I heard good things about it. But some people are like, that's the game that was a nominee. Why not? But there's always going to be that, right? If you are the weakest link of a nominee, they're always going to compare you to other people who may be at the same level of you and think that is better. Hades 2. I have my thoughts about Hades 2. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Hollow Knight Silk Song, along with Donkey Kong Bonanza and Clair Obscur, were the nominees. So I chose Donkey Kong Bonanza. Again, one, knowing that Clair Obscur was going to win. Two, knowing that I did not actually play Clair Obscur, aside from me saying all those beautiful things and saying that I think that I deserved it. But as someone who actually played Donkey Kong Bonanza, 100%ed it, by the way, my God, I think it is a gorgeous game. Sorry, had to take a little mini water break. Donkey Kong Bonanza is an amazing game, and here's why. Listen to me and listen to me well, kids. I know that this may look like Funny Monkey and Little Pretty Girl in the corner having a grand old musical adventure ride, and that's what it is. And to the kiddos and to the people who think that Nintendo is just a baby game and they just make baby things and they don't put any effort in their stuff, let me sit here and tell you something, okay? And I'm going to say this with love in all my heart. As someone who as someone who has a degree in game production and knows the effort and all that it takes to even program and design a game, imagine you're a game designer. Let's start there. Let me set the scene for y'all. Let me just set it real fast. Imagine you're the game designer of, let's say, even Clair Obscur. Let's bring the Game Award year person into play. And again, I'm saying this with all the love. Congrats, Claire. I literally just had like a 10-minute rant for y'all. Imagine Clair Obscur, right? You just designed all of Clair Obscur. You made such a gorgeous, beautiful game, a gorgeous, beautiful stages and actiony stuff. And then someone tells you, okay, now bury it and make a new level on top of that level. That is essentially what Donkey Kong Bonanza did. Like, do you know how hard it is to make a game? Let's start there. It is not easy. As much as there's a whole bunch of gimmicks and things and websites that make it easier for you to make a game, making a game from scratch is a lot of hard work. Takes a lot of time, dedication, planning, design, a whole bunch of stuff, especially making it fun, right? Takes a lot. But to make what, almost 20 stages, and then there's DLC. I'm not even going to talk about the DLC. I don't know her. But just the base game. To make a game with levels and level designs for damn near 15 to 16 different stages, open world, and then put material on top of it that makes it its own new stage and it's meant to be destroyed. Do you know how hard that is to execute? Do you know how hard that is to make it enjoyable? Like, that is such an evolution, and I feel like people really did not give the time and space and energy, even though it got nominated for Game of the Year. I really feel like people did not give the full appreciation of the masterpiece that is Donkey Kong, because it is easy to make a Dig Dug. Let's start there. It's easy to make a Dig Dug. What's hard is to make a Dig Dug and then Mega Man at the same time. That's essentially what it feels like. It's a smasher game. It's an open world, but by you destroying each level, you create new in the level. I love the superpowers that you get with it. I love the thematics of it all. We get the backstory of Pauline, which is insane, right? We get the origin story of Donkey Kong. Insane. The graphics is gorgeous. The music is gorgeous. The collectathon, if you want a 100% Donkey Kong, heed my words, don't. Not in a negative way, but if you like your sanity and you like your time to do other great things, don't 100% this game because it there was not a single banana that I thought was stupid in trying to collect and trying to get. I thought that it was a very challenging game if you do 100% it, but if you're someone that does not care and just wants to get through the story, it's a very fun game. It is a long game and there's DLC. How effing dare you? I 100 like I felt by the time I 100% it, like true 100% it Donkey Kong Bonanza, I felt like I 100% it Donkey Kong Bonanza and all I got was a stupid shirt. Like all you really get is like an end title change, and I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe a new level, maybe like I don't know something, but it it is such an amazing game. But I feel like from a game design perspective, a programming perspective, just a behind the scenes perspective, it is very innovative. And I'm going to bring this up in another category, and it's going to sound crazy. But again, just keep in mind, it's hard to make a game. It is harder to make a game within a game and be let the player choose what type of game they want to play with it. Like there's so many layers to it. And I know this may sound like, oh, here's the Nintendo fan trying to back up $1 billion corporation. I'm not saying like just think about that. Just think of how insane that is that they were able to execute it at a high level with beautiful graphics, beautiful song, story writing. It was so fun. Are you kidding me? That zebra song, the zebra, like I'll be jamming to that. Listen to the zebra transformation Donkey Kong Bonanza song. It is a bop and a half. I don't know if I'll get copyrighted if I play it for y'all, but just play it. I say that to say that's why I voted for it. I think that it was a masterpiece of a game hidden as a very introductory friendly game with a smash and grab. But you don't like it is not easy to do what they did and execute it in a way to make it look easy. That is very hard. And I think they did a phenomenal job. And I do think that they deserve their flowers. Even though I know that they got the ratings or whatever, but I have yet to see a YouTuber or a commentator or an article that really goes into depth about how ingenious it was with their level building. Maybe I'll do a whole video about Donkey Kong Bonanza. Um, because I think it was a masterpiece of a game as well in its own way. Um so yeah, those are my thoughts about Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now the other things. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think it deserves to be here as a nominee. I knew it was not going to win. Excuse me. Because Kingdom Come Deliverance, to my knowledge, now this is a game that my fiance plays quite often. And I have over the shoulder looked through and it looks like a very fun game. Again, not something that I would personally play, not in a negative way, but just not my cup of tea of gameplay. I do think that it was well deserved, well earned. There's a lot of work that went into this. It is a continuation of a previous story. I think that the fandom was really happy about it, but I feel like the Kingdom Come Deliverance fandom is not big enough to really actually do an upset, if you will, right? Same thing with Hollow Knight Six Song. Now, I'm scared of the Hollow Knight girlies. As much as I loved Hollow Knight, I'm really scared of them because they were really looking forward to Silk Song and they finally got it. And unfortunately, y'all came out at the wrong year, wrong place, wrong time. Because Claire Obscure came out this year. I don't know if y'all know that. And so Silk Song, y'all scare me because the fandom is very scary. So I'm going to say you guys deserve all your love and flowers, and I too love the little beetle. Cool, I'm not gonna die. Hades 2. I thought Hades 2 was very gorgeous, very beautiful. I feel like people give it a little bit slack because it's a continuation of Hades, which again was a masterpiece. I think it did win a couple of awards when it came out. I am not 100% sure. At the very least, I think it did win one. Um, Probably for music and or art design. Um, but I thought Hades 2 was real great. I thought that it was a new story with the same premise, which is always welcome here. I thought it was really great and gorgeous. So I really don't understand the Hades 2 hate. Um, Mainly because it's like, what's the problem with a sequel being nominated if it's a good like I don't like that sometimes people think that once you have one game that you made that the next game has to be spectacularly different. and that you can't just live in the world in which they created. Like Hades created a new world where we could really play it as any god or goddess and have any story. So why would you make them want to do a run and gun? Like make that make sense to me. Um and like I said, Death Stranding too. I don't have much on her, but congrats that you're even here. So yeah, those are my thoughts of the Game of the Year awards. I knew that Silk Song was. I actually, I'm not even going to hold you. If y'all know how strong that fandom is, like they are basically the Swifties of the gaming world at this point. And I say that with love for the Swifties because I also don't want to be murdered by y'all. But they are a very, very proud and ravenous group of people. So I was actually I mean, it made sense again because Claire is just that stronger of a girl. But I really thought that there was a potential for Silksong to have an upset because of how strong their fandom was and how ravenous they were for Silksong to get an award. And I love that for them. And I love that for y'all. Work. So yeah, that is my thoughts on the Game of the Year award. I will probably be talking a lot more about these other games, so I'm sort of reserving some of my comments because they will come up later. But yeah, all right, next up is Best Game Direction. This is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and game design. Okay, so the nominees for this are Claire Obscure, which you already know what I'm going to say and who wins, but I'm going to say everybody else. It is Claire Obscure, it is Death Stranding, it is Ghost of Yote, it is Hades 2. Hold on, don't know why, out of nowhere my thing does not want to load. I will also say I do think that their website can be a little bit wonky at times, unless it is my Wi Fi, which would be bad. Okay, there we go. So Claire Obscure, Death Stranding, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, and Split Fiction. I'm so glad Split Fiction is here so I could talk about it. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Claire Obscure won. Avi. Um, no notes. I'm so glad it won. I'm not going to be. It deserved to win, right? This was the one category that I did skip, and let me explain why I skipped it. Based off of my rant that I said last time, and since this game is about creative vision and innovation in game direction and design, I thought that Donkey Kong Bonanza should have been nominated for this. And honestly, actually, no, I did say Clear Obscure for this. It's just not showing because they also won. But I feel like Donkey Kong Bonanza should have been nominated for this. I don't know why Ghost of Yote is here. And with all due respect, I don't think that the Ghost of Yote hate was necessarily warranted just because the character was a girl, which again is showing the underbellies of the gaming universe and how we never win as women. Um, but just the game itself, seeing the gameplay and stuff, it was a little bit hard to defend a diva. Like it was okay. Uh, it was okay. It was an okay of a game. I don't think it did it. Okay, because here's the other thing too. Sometimes I feel like people create categories and then just put whoever, whatever, ignoring the purpose of the category. But this says outstanding creative vision and innovation. What was innovative of Ghost Yote? Tell me something that went crazy. At least with Hades 2, Split Fiction, and Death Stranding, there's a little bit more creativity going on. Like I can't speak on the Death Stranding girly. I'm probably not going to throughout the game, throughout the thing. But I don't. I'm not going to debate why it's here. I just do not have enough in depth knowledge to really argue why it deserves to be there. But I agree that it deserves to be there. But Hades 2 really did some creative, innovative things with the gameplay style of it all, with the roguelike of it all. It was very creative in that regard. And also the design of it. Very gorgeous design. I love the art style. I think that that has been something new and refreshing for the past couple of years that we have been missing in the game world. And then Split Fiction. Love the concept. Love the co-op gameplay. I truly feel like Split Fiction brought back co-op games because ever since Split Fiction came out, there's a lot more co-op games that have been going out. Um, and so I really loved Split Fiction because it was a great way to delve into different fantasy tropes, but have someone else that you play with. And you have to have someone else to play with because that's a part of the story. Very innovative. What did Ghost of Yote innovate? Black and white? Donkey Kong Bonanza was very innovative of making a game that you destroy and create new, like, y'all aren't seeing my vision of what I'm talking about. It's not because I'm a Donkey Kong fan and that I love Nintendo and I was actually there at Universal Studios with my sister and my best friend this year. Don't talk about it. I will talk about it later if I want to. No further questions allowed. But I'm just saying, okay? It is a very innovative game, and I need y'all to stop playing with my girl DK because she really did her big one this year. She really did her big one this year. Like, what other game were you playing in the spring? Okay, maybe Claire Obscure because it came out in the spring, but you know what I'm saying. There wasn't really any other game coming out when Donkey Kong came out in the beginning of this year, and so it really held us over for a little bit before the next of the games came out. I just feel like Donkey Kong's game design was definitely more innovative, then maybe go see Yote or just add her in because you had like a spare slot in all reality. Okay, that is my rant. I think I got it out of my system, but I don't think so. But I'm going to stop it here before this video is like 3 hours long. But yeah, I just wish that my girl DK was on here and that y'all would stop playing with her name and playing with her time because I find it real interesting that best game direction Breath of the Wild was nominated and I believe won for best game direction. All it was just sprawling hills, like the hills are alive, like sound of music, and that was innovative. I mean, it was. Let me stop playing with Girl Breath of the Wild when it came out because that was very innovative with how it was doing the open world scene. It wasn't seen before at the time. But I'm just saying, like, imagine Breath of the Wild. After I say this, I will be done. Imagine Breath of the Wild, right? But then there's a whole nother game within it that you get to destroy and build and manipulate on top of the underlying story, and you have to like break all this stuff and do all this material and upgrade your like I think it's innovative. I think it's innovative. I don't know why I turned into someone else in that moment. I just think y'all played with my girl DK's time and she should have been nominated for a little bit more things. Do I think that she should have won in comparison to others? No. I think Claire Obscure sweeps in this. Have you seen the game? Have you listened to the soundtrack? Have you shed the tears that the people have while playing this game? I have seen grown ass men. I have seen ball and gun people. And for those that don't know what ball and gun is, a famous YouTuber said ball and gun, and I really think that that really categorizes the group of people I'm talking about. But ball and gun people are people who truly believe that the only games that should exist and that men should play, because women don't exist, right? That men should play are basketball games and or sports games and or shooting games like COD. So when I say that, I'm talking about the dude bros who don't believe that other games exist and that Call of Duty is the best thing that has ever existed and that they are eagerly waiting for GTA 6, even though there are other games that exist that they could play in the meantime between time. So I've seen legit ball and gun people play Claire Obscure in tier, shed tears, and renounce their ball and gun ways to play Claire Obscure. That is monumental. Also, side note, um, since we're still talking about other nominees that could have been here, I think we also played around with blueprints a little bit too much. I think Miss Mamas should have at least been a runner up in Drew Raw Drag Race. And should have been nominated for more. I do think that Blueprints had one of the most innovative play styles where you go through a castle and it changes each time and you have to figure out what doors take you where. I think that is a great concept. I think it is an amazing concept. I think that we didn't talk about it enough. She's here. She's just not in the room with us right now. Does that make sense? Um, so yeah, I'm gonna move on from game design and go to the next category. Okay, next is Best Narrative. We have Death Stranding, we have Ghost of Yote, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and we have Silent Hill, and obviously Claire Obscure 1. Why are we wasting our time and breath? What I will say is, as much as I roasted Ghost of Yote for Best Innovation, I will not roast her for story. I think the story premise of being um basically you play the daughter of a family. Let me rephrase. basically you're set in ye olden times and ye olden samurai times, right? And her parents and her whole family is basically killed by these evil warlords that have been going around and killing people who are also supposed to be samurai, but they're not, but they are. And so these warlords end up killing her family for reasons unknown. Throughout the story you figure out why. And so they believed that she was dead because they like pinned her to a tree and burnt down the tree. Real crazy. I don't know how she survived. I'm really giving you the spoiler free version. Um but she ends up surviving that and ends up vowing to give vengeance to her parents and going to these warlords in this open world landscape, to kill them, but also understand more about why they killed her family, and what is going on. And so I think the way that the story is told, and I am again giving you the spoiler free version, I do know some things that go around. Um, but I think that the story itself is really great. I think the voice actress did great. She's also in here, and there's an iconic moment that I will talk about. Um, so I have no problems with it being here for best narrative because I do think that the story itself was really great. And again, I don't think that the game is horrible. I just think that I feel like just because a game is good does not mean it wins every single category all the time, or it should be in every single category for all the time. I don't think anything that Ghost of Yote did was innovative. I've seen horses before. I've seen arrows drawn. I've seen the sword styles and the way that you're doing stuff. It's not creative to me. And I'm not saying that as a negative. Everything doesn't need to be creative. Everything doesn't need to be a special toy in the box. But I just feel like why is it in the toy box? The Ghost of Yote girlies are gonna come get me. But anyways, I Clay Obscure won. And as much as I gush about the narrative, I did give it to Kingdom Come Deliverance too. Just because the amount of dialogue, the amount of storytelling, there is not a single side character in Kingdom Come Deliverance series and franchise, but especially in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Any action you do to any NPC or character in the game is held, is continued. They have their own judicial system, they have their own lawmaking system. I thought that that was very innovative. Again, could have been in best game direction. Now I'm saying that a lot of other girlies could have been there. But also I just thought that the work that went into the continuation of a story in which the first game took was very cool. I thought it was very innovative. I thought that it was a very immersive game, and so I gave it to Kingdom Come Deliverance too. That is my personal thoughts and feelings. I will not be swayed by the mob that is Clear Obscure, and I love them all, Clear Obscure girlies. I don't think that they're very hostile. I just, again, I don't want to vote just because I know Clear Obscure is going to win. I want to give my vote to genuinely who I think deserves that win in that time, in that place, and I think it was Kingdom Come Deliverance to me. Um, Next category. Looking back on my votes, I really did not vote for Clear Obscure, even though I really gave a whole speech and a half on how much I'm happy that they deserve it. So, best art direction for outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design. Now, did you hear me when I say that? Technical achievement in artistic design and animation, creative. Now, I'm glad that Clear Obscure won. And again, beautiful game, gorgeous, gorgeous gowns. But the graphics and the design of it is something that I have seen numerous times before. Like, it really does give Detroit Becomes Human sort of animation, or even Liza P animation, which is not bad because Liza P is great. And Detroit Becomes Human is great. Two great, amazing, beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous gown games. But I just feel like in terms of innovating design, I do think that Hades 2 artistically does something different for me and scratches that itch in my brain that I just gave to Hades 2. But again, congrats, Claire Obscure. The other nominees were Hollow Knight, Silk Song. I knew the girlies were frothing at the mouth when they did not win, because the Hollow Knight girlies, again, do scare me. Ghost of Yote, I'll just leave it alone. I really will. I Sure. And then Death Stranding to really honestly, after the Game Awards, it really made me want to look more into Death Stranding too, because I thought it was just I gotta protect kid game, and that's great. That's fine. Protect kid game is a great game. Um, I just I I'm happy for you, Death Stranding girlies. I know that you guys are really proud of yourselves for getting here. But I have no notes because it is, I guess, an artistic game. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it. Next category. All right, now we are on best score in music. Now, the winner was Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Their name is Lauren Testard. But the other nominees were Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, Claire Obscure did win this, and they should. Gorgeous, gorgeous orchestral. This is solely based off of me having a preference. And if you guys listen to my K-pop tournament bracket, I swear that this relates. If you guys listen to my K-pop tournament bracket, as much as I enjoy the arts and I enjoy various genres, I do have certain musics that scratch that itch regardless on who and what is being done. And so I love a good chip tune. I love I love a good retro remix. And so Silk Song for me really scratched that itch, and I think that they really were innovative with it. I think it was a very gorgeous score. And so I did give it to Silk Song. So are me and you Silk Song fandom? Are we cool? Are we besties? Do I need to prove it? Hold on, I could show you the screen. See, I voted for them, even though they didn't win. So don't kill me about my opinion. Silk Song really wasn't all that, guys. It was an okay game. I don't think it was worth the hype. I think you guys are just happy that you got water in the Sahara Desert, but really that water was Aquafina. It was tap. And that's okay. Enjoy your water in the Sahara because that is what you have been asking for. But if this was downtown New York and someone was to offer you tap water, you say, "Is there a Brita filter with it?" You know? And this is coming okay, and this is coming from a Pikmin fan. All right, I get it. Because as much as I love Pikmin 4, it was not all that in bag of chips. I think it was a fun game, and I think it did scratch an itch. But I think Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 3 Deluxe was better than Pikmin 4. But I was so happy that Pikmin 4 was there. I thought that it was the best thing since sliced bread. And so when the years go down the line and you really look back over your gaming journey as Hollow Knightists, if you will, you will see you like what I'm saying now won't make sense, Hollow Knight fandom. But I promise you, a couple of years down the line, you'll be like, maybe I was a little bit too crazy for Silk Song. Maybe it was just the hype that swept me away, and that is okay. Me and you can relate as a Pikmin fan. It is okay. As honestly, as a Tomodachi fan, I get you. You are seen. You are heard. Enjoy your moment, but don't kill me. And don't kill others, for that matter, when they disagree. I'm really trying to hold your hand when you say that when I say this, but it really like if because I've seen what the girlie said. They were like, if Claire Obscure didn't exist, then Silk Song would have swept. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You were not hired as a janitor for this year. You are not the Sandman taking people off the Apollo. You are an audience member. If Claire Obscure was not here, it probably would have gone to, you know what? Let's play this game. If Claire Obscure was not here, who would have won these categories? Let's do this real fast. And I know I'm dedicating a lot to the Silk Song fandom, especially since I know the people who watch my videos right now probably do not know Silk Song and or have not played it. But I just want to get my thoughts out here, because excuse me, that's what this game show is all about. So if Claire Obscure was not here for Game of the Year and everybody else was still there and there was no replacement, will Silk Song sweet? No. Donkey Kong Bonanza would have absolutely sweat, absolutely broke the like. And if it wasn't Donkey Kong, it probably would have been Kingdom Come Deliverance too, because that fandom has been going pretty strong. But it definitely would have been Donkey Kong Bonanza, hands down, hands down. You Silk Song is not beating Donkey Kong Bonanza, and this is coming from someone who's trying to be objective, but also trying to be objective. Let's say Donkey Kong Bonanza wasn't there, Hades 2 or Kingdom Come Deliverance would have absolutely swept Silk Song. And I'm not even bringing up Death Stranding because I really don't know what the girlies are made of for that. Let's go to next category. Let's say if Claire Obscure was not here, who would have won this game? It would have been Split Fiction. Split Fiction girlies are very strong in the fandom, as they should. They're very wholesome people. I love that because they actually have someone else to talk to instead of a screen. So no, Silksong, you weren't even nominated for this. Next. If Claire Obscure was not here, who would have won? I really think it would have been Kingdom Come Deliverance. If not, it would have probably been Death Stranding 2. Silent Hill is here. I really don't know why she's here. Not in a negative way. I just was very spooked and scared because I was like, oh, glad you're here. But also, Silksong, you were nominated for this. Interesting because you guys actually do have a story. But it didn't win Best. And finally, Best Arc Direction, which is where I was at right here. If Claire Obscure was not here, Hades 2 would have ate. Would have absolutely ate. House down boots. Yes, God. Like, Silk Song, Silk Song people, you were not winning regardless. And as much as the whole if Claire wasn't here, we would have won narrative probably fuels you, it's okay to say another game is better. It's okay. I've been literally saying this whole time. So relax. Um, have a cookie. And even this category there said that you won. I think if Claire Obscure was not here, it probably would have gone Hades too. Actually, let me take that back. You might have had a chance with score when it comes to Silk Song, but I think Hades 2 probably would have won it in terms of public opinion. So I say that to say, don't get tunnel vision. Enjoy other genres. Sometimes your snowflake isn't the most special one. Okay, cool. I'm going to move on to the next category and do my best to not mention Silk Song, even though I know that they do win an award, and I'm going to probably talk about that in a second. But yeah, those are my thoughts. All right, and now we are on Best Audio Design. This is recognizing the best in game audio and sound design. Now, when it comes to audio design, this is different from musical score. Audio design is more so like how immersed you are in the game. Can you hear the footsteps of the snow? The engineering of it all, like that sort of thing, right? Like if a thunderstorm is rolling, could you hear the thunder before you see the lightning? Um, if I did the order of operations wrong, I'm doing my best. So the nominees were Battlefield, Death Stranding, Ghost of Yote, Silent Hill, and Claire Obscure. Of course, Claire Obscure did not win. The gasp that I guessed, it actually went to Battlefield 6. And you know what? This was the ball and gun people's time. I think that they were just like, as much as we love Clay Obscure, we're gonna all huddle into one category and spam out of it. For those that don't know, the Game Awards are supposed to be based off of our votes. Um and so whoever gets the most votes win. And so I feel like the Battlefield, because the Battlefield 6 girlies, they are strong. They are proud. They are a unit. Okay. So I would not be surprised if they're like, listen, Battlefield 6 got nominated. We gotta lock in. We gotta absolutely lock the fuck in. And so I think they did. And I think that's why they lost. Claire Obscure lost. Not a huge loss because, congrats to you, Battlefield 6. I really don't have anything negative to say about Battlefield 6. I think it's great for the shooty pew pews of the world. Have fun. I also don't have any arguments with it. I think it's probably a great immersive game because you need to be able to hear certain nuances to know if enemies are nearby or the surroundings. So I have no debate or argument on it. I believe this was actually the one category I did skip. Yeah, I did skip this. Um, because I just was not sure when it comes to audio design. I did not actively play the games myself, so I can't critique um the audio of it. So yeah, congrats to you, Battlefield 6. I have no complaints. Congrats. All right, and now we have best performance. And I want y'all to like in terms of highlight clips, I'm pretty sure you guys may or may not have seen the memes going around of this girl eating popcorn being unbothered. That is one of the nominees. She was the voice actor of the main girl of Ghost of Yote. Her name is Erika Ishii. She is an icon. She is a legend. She is the moment. I love her, and no further questions. She is a diva. So I did vote for her. I did think that she did an amazing job voice acting for the game. And like I said, I did not play through enough to know the actress for Claire Obscure. I do know hold on, let me say this. The nominees were Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, Erika Ishii, Jennifer English, Konatsukatu, and Konatsukato. and Troy Baker. And so Ben Starr, Charlie Cox, and Jennifer English are all voice actors for Claire Obscure. And to my knowledge, are three of the potential main characters that you actually play in the game because you actually rotate main characters throughout the story. Um, so I really had no dog in the race when it came to Claire Obscure because I really did not play through it personally to hear their voice acting enough to get attached and be like, yes, that's my girl, that's my bestie. So I went with Erica Ishii because I listened to a lot more and saw more gameplay of Ghost of Yote than I did Claire Obscure this year, and I thought that she did a phenomenal job. So while they were saying the nominees and like that moment where you're like, oh, is it me? Is it me? Homesis was relaxing. She was just like, who got nominated? Not me. I'm just eating my popcorn, having a grand old time. I know Claire's winning this. I know they're winning. I know they're sweeping. I'm just glad to be here. And honestly, get your Sony check, girl. You deserve it. You deserve it. Because what does an award mean to a millionaire? This moment wasn't for her, and she acknowledged that. She was giving very much to Beyonce with her fro and her popcorn. And I think it's very iconic. If Eder Tiana is not lazy and decides to put that up here, it would be here. If not, Google it yourself. But yeah, Jennifer English ends up winning. She actually looked very shocked, and I was very shocked too because apparently Ben Starr is a very prolific voice actor. But good on her. The little snippets that I've heard, it sounds like she's really great at voice acting. It was a very emotional moment for her. And great. Congrats. I have no notes. I have no complaints. And honestly, I think Erica was the most happy for Jennifer, actually, to the point where it's just like, girl, do you work for them? Girl, are you supposed to be sitting on their side? Like, what's going on? So yeah, those are my thoughts. All right, the next category is innovation and accessibility. Now, listen to this description, and then when I say the nominees and who won, I need you to really sit back and understand. Like, I need y'all to be with me. It says recognizing software and/or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. Now, here's a little bit of history about this category. This category was not always a category. This category was actually made specifically for Overcooked. I believe specifically Overcooked 2 because I think when Overcooked 1 came out, the Game Awards weren't really a thing. It was just something that people talked about. But even either way, the Overcooked franchise actually created this category. For those that do not know, Overcooked has a lot of features that make it accessible for anybody to play. If you have one hand, you're able to play Overcooked. If you have color blindness, you're able to play. They even added characters that are wheelchair accessible and are conscious of flashing or any photosensitivity. They put a lot of innovation to making sure that it was accessible for anybody and everybody to be able to play this game. The backstory is that the creators of Overcooked and Overcooked 2 specifically had a lot more innovation, but Overcooked 1 had it as well. Is that they're someone in their family, I can't remember who specifically, had different abilities. And so they wanted their family member to be able to play whatever game that they made and was very conscious with a generous heart, not in a money grubbing, like, that way we. It was done generously. It was done genuinely, and it was done in such a beautiful way to which the Overcooked community is such a very beautiful community and a very wholesome community, but also a community that reaches out to people who have different abilities of different ranges and in types and sizes. So I say that to say they literally made this category due to the innovations that Overcooked and Overcooked 2 had made. And I don't like that. When it comes to award shows and you have a category, you have to have nominees for that category, even though nobody did anything innovative this year. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, Overcooked won that and created that category, and there are some other innovative games that made it very accessible for different people. Dave the Diver is a great example for one, but uh, but when you have a year where there are games like mainstream games where they really didn't do anything accessible or innovative with accessibility versus like having different hues for color blindness or maybe subtitles, I don't think that there should be a winner or nobody gets nominated because I feel like the nominees were pity nominees and the thing that won didn't even really deserve to win. I think that they just won because it was based off of their fandom. and that's fine and good, but like what did they do that was innovative for or access, and what did they do that was innovative to make it more accessible for more people to play the game? What was groundbreaking? And it doesn't have to be a video game, it could be technology too. There's literally a one-handed keyboard that was made, I think this year if not last year, that could have been nominated because it says software and or hardware. What about like a different hardware gaming link, something? There had to be something else other than this. That's my thoughts, but I'll get to here. So the nominees were Assassin's Creed Shadow, Atom Fall, EA Sports FC 26, South of Midnight, and Doom the Dark Ages. And I would like to say too, I feel like the only reason South of Midnight, though a beautiful game and they get their props and flowers later, I feel like they were put here because they're black. And I'm saying this as a black person myself, and there's nothing wrong with inherently giving flowers to black creators because this was made by black dev creators, and there was a lot of very gorgeous cultural resemblance and fantasy that went into this, and a love letter to South folklore as well. But I feel like when we're talking about innovative and accessibility, I feel like they were just put here because it's like, oh, and then put black people here. It wasn't like a, oh, this is dedicated for them. Does that make sense? There's nuance to that. There's a difference between celebrating a creation that was made by black people who, against all odds, beat the odds to get something up there. And it's another to sort of be like, oh, they're basically the same as different able people, because I don't think they belong in the category either. They didn't do anything that focused on making it accessible for everybody, if that makes sense. Like what innovation did they do to make it accessible? They could be here for best narrative, for best art design, like maybe innovation in storytelling, sure, but like accessibility, what did any of these people do that was different than what we already have done when it comes to accessibility? I just felt like this is one of those moments where nobody gets nominated. Like if these were the options, I feel like nobody should have won this. And that's just me feeling like they just said people because it was like, oh, they let you choose between being right-handed and left-handed, or like, oh, they had a color gradient shift, or oh, they accounted for arachnophobia. And it's like, okay, that's what we've already been doing. What was innovative? What did they do to innovate? What did Doom the Dark Ages do to innovate the accessible realm of video games? And if I'm wrong on this, genuinely, because I really did try to look it into it, like please let me know in the comments. But I really don't know what any of these people did that were innovative in how we view gaming for everybody and making it accessible for all, that has not already been done for years and have been the golden standard now. When Overcooked did their thing, it was something new and novel. And the extent and the amount of which they were in care and customizable. Like, really go and if you guys have Overcooked or Overcooked 2 or All You Can Eat, really go in the settings and look at how many settings that they put and how customizable the game really is based off of your needs, visually or mechanic wise. Like, really take that in and think about that. And then look at these games and say, okay, now what did you do that is different than all of these options that Overcooked franchise has done, and come back to me because I would love to know you guys' thoughts. These are mine, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe Doom really did do something insane in the accessibility department and I just disrespected them, but I really don't think so. I really don't think so. And when I again say about the Southwinds, I think it's a gorgeous game. I love the concept. I love the game of it all. And the creators. I'm glad that you guys did win something. I will get to them in a moment, but it just felt like I don't like that. Accessibility and diversity are two different things, though we have different overlapping struggles. It just felt very disingenuous to put them here when I just don't think that that's I don't they didn't do anything innovative when it comes to accessibility. Right? Like the category is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. Maybe, okay, like making it so that way it's reaching a black audience, sure, but like, I don't know. When I think innovation and accessibility, I think what new things, what new features um and content are being added so we are being conscious to different abilities, to different needs in people to be able to enjoy it and it not just be enjoyed by a select few but the majority. And I feel like it's sort of really squinting your eyes when you put South of Midnight here. And maybe that's just me being a little bit more like wanting more out of the category, but it's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful story. I think it's great that it was a black game meant for black people and other people to understand like history and folklore in the South. I think it's a gorgeous game. I think it's a gorgeous creation of it. Sure, but what was innovative about it? What was innovative about Doom or Assassin's Creed Shadow or Atomfall or EA Sports FC 26? Like, what did you do different than 25? Okay, I'm ribbling and rambling, but I just want y'all to chew on that. I really felt like no one deserved to win it. I skipped that category. I really felt like this category should not have been a category this year because if these are the nominees and options, I don't think any of them deserve it because I don't think they did anything new when it comes to accessibility in gaming. And those are my thoughts. All right, and the next category is also proving my point from the previous category. This is games for impact. This makes more sense for South of Midnight to be here because this was a very impactful game. You got a beautiful, gorgeous story out about Black culture, about Southern culture and folklore. It was a beautiful fantasy genre game where you follow the main character, who is a girl, as she learns about maturing in a world that is not made for her in a way, and her navigating it and being a hero when she didn't want to be and having to face these levels of adversities. It's a very gorgeous game. You guys should really play it. And don't let what I said about the previous category make it seem like this game does not deserve to win the award. It did win this category. Um or that it's not a great game. I just feel like it's like it sort of feels like when like it feels like when Doja Cat was nominated for best R&B album and won. It's like, yeah, her album was, remember that? Remember Woman in that run, and I think she won best R, like she was nominated for best R&B track or best R&B album or song, one of the two, and she won it, and she's like, I don't even know why I'm here. I'm a rapper. None of my album was R&B, and it just felt really racist. I'm going to say the R word in this one. It felt a little bit racist that she was even nominated for that category, and that's not what she is and who she represents. That's sort of my feeling of what I felt the previous category, where it's just like, Ariana, what are you doing here? Like, you're rap, you're not pop, and and you could coincide. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, imagine if Beyonce dropped Cowboy Carter and they said that this was best pop album of the year. It's a country album. It feels a little disingenuous that you're putting it there. I don't know. So the nominees were Consumi, Despolat. Hold on one second, y'all. Hi. Hello. I'm back. I'm sorry. Today's a new day. It's a new hour. It's a new time in the loop. I had some things to do, but fret not. I am here and I'm ready to keep rambling and ranting about the video game awards. So yeah, I left off with games for impact, and I've had some days to chill. And to that, I say everything that I said before. I still stand firm on, but I just won't re-talk about. So the nominees were Consumi, Despolate, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, South of Midnight, and Wanderstop. Now, the winner was South of Midnight. I have no notes. I think South of Midnight was a beautiful, gorgeous game. If you have not played it already, go play it. I personally have not played it because I do not possess the console to do so. But it was a very gorgeous game looking at it, looking at the story, seeing the creators and hearing their story on it. Very, very gorgeous, very, very great. They definitely deserve it because Game for Impacts are about thought provoking game with pro social meaning or message, different from the pre. I said I wasn't gonna go back to it. Now, all that being said, I did choose Wanderstop as the one that I wanted to win. I did vote for Wanderstop, not because I thought South of Midnight did not deserve it, but it was one of those things where I thought that Wanderstop was such a beautiful story, made by the same people who made the Stanley Parable. So I like the expectations were really high, but just a cozy game that really talks about stress and anxiety and how that could follow you in life really hit to my core. I thought it was a very gorgeous story, a very gorgeous tale with various different characters and the art style. The gameplay itself was a little bit more repetitive than I would have liked. I wish it was a little bit more dynamic when it came to the making of the teas. Wanderstop, for those that don't know, you basically play as a tea shop owner in a fantastical world, but something's not quite right. And with that, I won't spoil any more from it, but it was just such a beautiful tale that connected more personally to me, um, than South of Midnight. Though, again, South of Midnight was talking about just Southern folklore, Black culture, and rising to expectations that were put on you without you having the choice of it. So again, love that South of Midnight one. I have no issues or qualms about it. Neither do I have with any of these other nominees. I think the other nominees were great. I just personally chose Wanderstop because I watched a lot more gameplay of it. I personally did not get to play it because I need to get a new gaming laptop in general. Just side tangent from there. But I chose Wanderstop. And for those that haven't played Wanderstop, I think you should, or look at gameplay of people who have, as well as South of Midnight and all of these other games, because I think they were great as well. So yeah. All right, and now we're on best ongoing. Now, okay, hear me out, y'all. At this point, I was very confused. Best ongoing game goes for a game for outstanding development and ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. And so the nominees were Final Fantasy, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky. And at this point, I was very confused because I was just like, is the finals not an ongoing game? Did the finals not really have a blow up this year? Do y'all not like my girl the finals? Like what's going on? I was truly befuddled, confused, baffled, bewildered. Especially since this year too was really hyped because they had their first official gaming tournament, and so I was very confused as to why they were nominated. However, I did vote for No Man's Sky, and No Man's Sky did win. I think No Man's Sky has had a very I love the No Man's Sky team because when it first came out, it was a little rough. It was giving a little bit cyberpunk. It was giving a little um, Starfield, if you will. But they really put in the work, listened to people's critiques in genuine and earnest, and really evolved the game into something that is so gorgeous and beautiful to play. The fact that you could play No Man's Sky on the Switch One and it not kill your Switch, I feel like it's a testament into their coding and development and their processing. For those that don't know, No Man's Sky is basically a generative space exploring game where you could basically travel to different planets, and it's truly different planets because it is what's the word, something generated. It's like machine generated, so like each playthrough, like my playthrough and your playthrough, we will see different planets unless we decided to link up as friends. um and it is such a very big and vast and beautiful designed game that keeps on adding new things each year and keeps improving the game and keeps expanding it so that anybody and everybody can play. If anything, back to my back to my innovative for accessibility rant. Honestly, I wouldn't be like as I'm talking about it and thinking about it, I feel like No Man's Sky was more innovative with accessibility than the rest of the. You know what? I'm gonna leave it. I said I'd leave it. I'm gonna leave it. The other nominees, if it wasn't for No Man's Sky, I really thought that Helldivers 2 would probably do it. I think the hype of Fortnite has really gone drastically down, and I feel like the people that do play Fortnite are of a certain age and a bracket to which they probably wouldn't vote or feel the need to. Not in a negative way. I feel like Fortnite can be for everybody, and Fortnite. I do feel bad for my girl Fortnite because it never intended to be a kid's game. It never intended to be a replacement for Roblox or an alternative to it. It had always wanted to maintain being an adult content game. And so if you ever question yourself, like, why are they adding this character for DLC or that character for DLC, they keep trying to tell you guys that this is actually supposed to be an 18 up game or a teen and up game. It's just very unfortunate that the kiddos got to it. And so they don't want to lose their money with the kiddos because the kiddos are the main people to play the game. But they still want to like try to market to the adults because they have always wanted and maintained to have wanted to be an adult game. That's why they do the concerts the way they do and have the artists the way they do. That is why they have the DLC characters the way they have and the marketing of it. They truly, truly, and honestly are trying to be seen and known as the teen and up or the adult and up game. But I think once the kids got to it and really Robloxed it, I think there's no escaping from it as much as they want to. But I do like that they try to make it a safe space as badly and poorly as they're doing because it's really hard because of how massive Fortnite is in terms of popularity. Um but yeah, that's my little and I don't even play Fortnite. I really feel neutral about it. I don't hate or love the people that play it. There's like it's like, okay, that's just a game you play. Cool. I have no qualms with it. I think it's a very fine and fair game that's doing its best and staying afloat somehow. Congrats on you. But I do think that Fortnite gets the same sort of hate that Roblox does, and Roblox deserves all the hate, and the people that make Roblox are disgusting, and I will not say anything further, and these are all my thoughts and opinions. Please don't sue me. But Fortnite is not the same as Roblox. The people who are handling Fortnite are a lot different, um, and the advertisement and the rules and regulations that they put around it are a lot more child protection friendly because they actually care about laws. But also, again, they do want the game to be an adult game. They really don't want it to be known as a kids game as much as it already is. So yeah, that is my thoughts on best ongoing. The final should have been on here, and the final should have won. That is my stance. However, I did vote for No Man's Sky because I truly love No Man's Sky. Think it's a great game. Think it's great. You guys should play it. It in a way, I feel like No Man's Sky is a cozy game, but we like the girlies that are willing to have that debate. It's not me. I'm just willing to say the stance and move on. All right, and next up is Best Community Support. This is recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches. And so the nominees were Final Fantasy, Fortnite, Baldur's Gate 3, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. Obviously, Baldur's Gate won. Don't worry, girls. If you wanted to think, Tiana, are you still going to have your rant about Baldur's Gate 3? I will. I will. It's a positive rant, but I will have said rant. Don't you worry. It'll be at the end of the video for a treat. Um, yeah, obviously Baldur's Gate 3 will win this. No surprise there. They have been the most like Larian Studios is the creator of Baldur's Gate 3 alongside the other Baldur's Gate. Yes, there are more than one Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate 3 is just the one that truly blew up the way that they did. There's also other games that Larian Studios has done. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, the updates that they've done, the responsiveness of the bugs, they literally just did their last patch like a month or so ago. And even then, they're like, LOL, JK, actually, we're going to do a little bit more zhuzhing up for you guys. They added more classes, they added bug fixes. They made it so where you could actually play D&D using their game. Like, they truly did their thug thistle. Now, I'm not upset about the other nominees being there. I am again very much so confused as to why the finals isn't here. Did the finals do something wrong? Blink twice if you're scared. The Game Awards, like what's and it's very confusing too because you know what? I'll get to it when I get to it. Congrats, Baldur's Gate 3. Obviously, I voted for you because I love Baldur's Gate 3, though I never got to personally No, I never got to personally see the ending, and I still haven't spoiled myself. So, guys, please don't spoil in the comments what happens at the end of Baldur's Gate 3, because I still am holding out hope that one day I will play through it myself. Um, but it is an amazing game. It is a phenomenal game, and as someone who loves D&D, has played D&D, had a 2-year long campaign, a part of it. That's a whole story. I might do a video about my time playing D&D. Not negative, but just like the story around it and everything, because it was a very fun time. Yeah, Congrats to you, Larian Studios. Oh, also while we're here on it, because I don't think I'll talk about Larian Studios until the end. The last game that was announced was a big one. Usually the last game of the Game Awards is usually like a huge trailer, and so at first I was looking at this and I'm just like, I am very confused. What is going on? And it wasn't clicking to me that this was a very familiar format in animation, and then because I was watching this with my fiance. And so my fiance was like, this is feels like Divinity. And I was like, Divinity, what's that? And they're like, oh, it's Larian Studios. And so they showed this epic trailer and then just Larian Studios and you hear the crowd going crazy. That is the impact that this gaming company has. That is the impact of Baldur's Gate 3. Apparently, new Divinity is coming out. However, there are old Divinity games that you could play through. And apparently, Divinity is somewhat similar to Baldur's Gate, but it's a lot more story driven and linear than not necessarily linear, but it's a lot more story driven and story focused than Baldur's Gate 3 is, where you could really do whatever you want and play whatever character you want. Whereas with Divinity, you sort of have a set locked background story and stuff, but you can still get to customize and do some other things. So yeah, Divinity, I think it said it'll come out late next year. I'm super hyped for that. And honestly, that was such a mic drop. And you know, there are so many other games that were announced, like that were by big studios or like really interesting to see. But the fact that Larian Studios really was just like, don't forget about me, mic drop, like, good on you. I'm not saying that competition isn't healthy. I'm just saying I was a little bit concerned about people's thoughts this year. And you know what? This is going into the rant. I won't go into the rant. I will try to stay focused. Congrats, Larian Studios. Congrats, Baldur's Gate 3. You girlies do deserve it for sure. All right. I don't even know how many categories I have left. But next is Best Independent Game. There's Absalom, there's Ball Pit, there's Blueprints, there's Claire Obscure, there's Hades 2, and there's Silk Song. So this goes for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. So yeah, I guess it. I mean, I know that it's an Claire Obscure because obviously Claire Obscure won. If I didn't say that already, um, I don't. I hesitate from saying an indie studio and a small company because I feel like indie should go to just pure new game developers who decide to make their own gaming company or their own game versus small company or independent company feels more so like, hey, I'm already in the industry and I decide to branch off, or like this is a branch of its own thing. Does that make sense? I don't know. I also don't like the more categories you make for one thing, the more isolating and gatekeepy it could become. So I really don't want to turn into that, but I do find it a little bit. I'm going to say Claire Obscure absolutely deserves to win this award. I want no smoke with the Claire Obscure girlies, not at all. However, I do find it a little bit unfair that Claire Obscure, being renowned game developers, artists, designers, the whole hoopla from Ubisoft, which is a major gaming company who hasn't had the best couple of years, but you have to admit is a gaming company for a reason, right? To go up against creators such as Ball Pit or even the creator of Blueprints, right? Like, I'm not mad at it. I think it was still a fair fight. I personally voted for Blueprints, and this is where my Blueprints rant comes in. I feel like Blueprints got the shine when it comes to streaming and stuff, but truly did not get the shine as it should have in the gaming world. And I think it's because the gaming world right now doesn't really care about puzzles. They say they like a good puzzle, but they don't like it when the game is a puzzle. You know what I mean? For those that don't know, Blueprints is basically a story to where I think you inherited this mansion, and to get the riches of said mansion you have to figure out what room has it, but each door that you go through changes the entire map and layout of the house. That I think is a really dope mechanic. If you have not seen gameplay of it or a trailer, please go and watch it and support this game. I think it's a really dope game. I think the concept alone I think was very innovative. And I think that this is the only category in which Blueprints was nominated, but I really wish that it just got a little bit more shine. And so I put my vote for Blueprints just for my heart and soul. I think it was a phenomenal game. Every year you have that one game that really changes up the dynamic and the situation of gaming, or tries to introduce a new concept or a new way of concept. Like last year was Balatro, right? This year's Blueprints. 2 years before was Dave the Diver. Never forget. Um, So I think Blueprints is in that category for me, and I am not upset that it lost. I knew it was going to lose, but I'm just glad to see that it got nominated because I was really worried it wouldn't get nominated at all when I was doing the voting. So, yeah, congrats to you, Claire Obscure, and I'm glad that you at least got a nomination under your belt, Blueprints. Okay, and here we go about my rant again. So you see how before it was best independent game, and now we're back to best debut indie game. Like again, Clay Obscure obviously wins, yes, but do you see the nominees were Dispatch, Despolette, and Blueprints? Is it fair? Now, okay, hear me out. Imagine it was just like, okay, best indie open world game, and you're going like your Blueprints and you're going up against Donkey Kong Bonanza because technically it was made by the people that work under Nintendo, but it wasn't Nintendo. Does that make sense? Am I making sense in my argument here? I'm not upset. I think Claire Obscure deserves all the jewels and pretty eyes that they get. I love that for you. But I don't, it feels a little bit like, should you be here? Like, we get it. Like, we get the point. I don't know. I don't know, because then I say that and then it makes it sound like I'm hating on Claire and I don't appreciate the journey that they've been on. I get it. I just like, you already won independent game. Do you need to win indie debut game too? Like, are you independent or are you indie? Is there a difference? Because if we open up that floodgate, congrats, Claire Obscure. I'm glad Blueprints was nominated again. I obviously voted for Blueprints in this category as well. I just I don't know. I think it was a little bit OD. But I get the point because it was a breakout indie game. This was, I get it. I get it. I'm gonna go into the next category to save my sanity and my voice. Okay, we are on best mobile game. So we have nominees: Destiny Rising, Persona 5, The Phantom X. Surprised that was nominated. I heard that the app was trash. Sonic Rumble, The Pretty Derby, Horse Game, and Wuthering Waves. Now, as much as I know how strong the Wuthering Waves community is, you underestimate gooners who love horse girls and idols all in one app. Obviously, the Pretty Derby, the horse. For those I don't know, Uma Muse Masume, Pretty Derby. This is what she looks like. That's her over there. Is basically, they did great. They released the app and the anime at the same time, and both became a smash hit. Basically, to my understanding, the game and the story is that you play as horse girls who are anthropomorphic horses. It's not like you play as horse girls as they compete in a derby, and winner of the derby gets to be the lead in the end of the day K-pop idol concert. I don't know when the anime awards are, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna win a whole bunch of awards based off of how many people were obsessed with this game. And honestly, I think it was really well done. I think you really took the furry community and the idol community and you just married them together. And honestly, profit work. Because for you to beat Wuthering Waves, like Wuthering Waves is at the same level as Genshin Impact. For those that may not know, it's the same like open world gotcha s game. So for you to beat essentially Genshin Impact, and this is your first year out, congrats to y'all. I'm not even mad. I'm not even mad. I get it. Again, Persona 5, I was very surprised it was here. Maybe they just needed to fill in. Maybe they got a little money underneath the table. But I did hear that the Persona 5 game was not fun. So, ooh. On to next category. All right, now we're back to VR AR, best VR AR game. So the nominees were Alien, Rogue, Incursion, Arcane Age, Ghost Town, Marvel's Deadpool VR, and The Midnight Walk. I do have a VR headset that I got years ago for Christmas. However, I don't play often with it because it's really not glasses friendly for one, and for as much as they say that little add on is good, but for two, the games I have played were great, but just the variety of it wasn't really there for me. And I don't really like Mark Zuckerberg and how he handled the VR stuff. And for third, playing it for more than 30 minutes for me would give me a really big headache, and make me very sick. So I just don't play it. Um, but I did hear about Marvel's Deadpool VR being really good. and so I voted for that. However, the Midnight Walk one, I have no thoughts. I have no critiques on that. Congrats to the Midnight Walk. As I'm looking at the leftovers, I'm going to be here for a minute, and that's fine. Why do I need vocals? No. Best action game is the next category. We have Battlefield 6, we have Doom the Dark Ages, we have Ninja Gaiden, we have Hades 2, and we have Shinobi Art of the Vengeance. I voted for Hades 2 and it won, so the Hades girlies cannot storm the castle at this point. Congrats. I agree. I think it was a great action game. I was actually, you know what? Let me roll it back. I was happy Hades 2 won. I think that they deserve it. I think it's a great game. I don't know why the sequel haters are coming in. It's a new story. Yeah, it's a similar art style and some gods are used again, but I don't see anybody yelling at God of War. So why are we yelling at Hades 2? Calm down. Anyways, I was surprised that Doom didn't win. I actually quite like the Doom community, though I do not play Doom because I don't do blood and gore quite well. But the Doom community is, even before the Animal Crossing situation that happened during COVID. The Doom community is actually very wholesome and very strong. So I was very very surprised that Doom did not take it. Though I am very happy that Hades 2 won. I wouldn't be surprised if Doom was even like, yeah, I actually quite like Hades 2. I'm gonna vote for them, even though Doom came out this year. I don't know. Uh, Ninja Gaiden being here, I was just like, girl, did you come out this year? But apparently it did. Fact checking. Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I think the art style looks really cool for it. And then Battlefield 6. I'm going to reserve my comments because I like living and I like my YouTube to be a nice, safe, comfy corner place and space to be. So I'm just going to go into the next category. Yeah. Best action adventure game. So we have nominated Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Hollow Knight Silk Song, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Split Fiction. Now at this point, I totally forgot the new Indiana Jones movie game came out this year. I really haven't heard much of anything about it. Which is crazy because one of the reveals and trailers in the Game Awards, if you guys have not seen already, I would suggest you should, was that Lara Croft is not only having a remaster, or a remake. There's a difference between a remaster and a remake. Lara Croft is not only having a remake, but also an entirely new Lara Croft story coming out next year, which is super exciting for the Lara Croft fandom. Congrats to you guys. Also, congrats to the men that were complaining when the other Lara Croft game came out and she was flat chested. She has boobs now and she has a butt. So, are you guys gonna play now because that mattered and y'all really were with your pitchforks and your torches? Like upset because she just had a little less chest than what she did in pixelized games. Like, I don't know, here's my thing. I don't mind sexy characters in games. I think that that is expected in a way, but also I don't like that whenever an artist and or a game creator does not make a conventionally attractive character, instead of actually playing the game and or giving it a chance, you immediately shit on it. Because to me personally, as a woman, as a woman who games, right, and who grew up in the era where it was seen as uncool for girls to play games, especially black girls to play games, and that is my experience. Maybe other people didn't have it, but that was mine. I would like to say I had no problems with seeing sexy women on there. I had no problem seeing sexy men on there. What was annoying was that there were no clothes for the women, for those that just wanted to have different options. And I feel like when women, or at least when I say, hey, I just want to have an option where she's not breaking her back or her spine to support the absolute weight that she has on top of trying to beat up this other dude who is allowed to have clothes and be cool. That doesn't mean that I want to eliminate that character. It means I just want more options. And somehow by saying we want more options means that um we want ugly. I would also like to say this too. I love that if a woman is just slightly flat chested, like if she is an A or a B cup, she's somehow ugly. I feel like this is a lot about our gaming community, if that's what you think. But also, I find it really interesting that like just regular people are considered ugly characters in gaming. And also, again, I just want both. I want to have the options of it. I feel like that's why the cozy games are getting more traction and stuff, because they've always given users options on how they look in that whole sphere of thing, and they've always given variety of romance characters and the like, without it being gridlocked to being like you either get Bayonetta or Nancy from The Office. I don't know. That's my little ribble ramble stance on that. I was really excited to see that there was a new Lara Croft game, two new ones in fact. But I also knew that based off of how the character looked, though she was very pretty, I have no qualms or issues with it. I feel like the main reason why she looks that way was because of all the complaints, because Lara was a B cup in that last game, and nobody, the real ones played it and did not complain, but the ones outside the club who could not get in were harassing the people coming out of the club to hate the game. And it was very interesting to see. I think that for all the stuff, all the flips and tricks and dips that she's doing, I would assume that she would have a more athletic body, which does entail not having big bazungas. But this category wasn't even about that. I just wanted to have that little side rant here. Hollow Knight won. Great. I'm glad. Even the announcer was like, "See, you got one," because I feel like they even knew that they were about to get their thing burned down if they didn't award Silksong one thing. I personally voted for Fiction. I was actually a little bit hurt that Split Fiction did not win any of the categories it was nominated for. I thought it was such an amazing game. Actually, did it win co-op? Let me take that back. It might have won co-op. If not, I was very upset that it didn't win more, maybe. But yeah, congrats to Silksong. I think it was a great game. I The same little speech I gave y'all before still stands. But you guys have this win. At the very least, you guys have this win, so you don't complain. But I personally thought that Split Fiction should have won. Um, that's just my personal preference. But I'm not upset that Silksong won. Congrats to you guys. All right, and next is Best RPG. The nominees are Avowed, Clear Obscure, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter, Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2. I don't know why Avowed is here. I think a lot of people are confused as to why Avowed is here. I heard nothing but negative, and the little bit that I did see, I was just like, eh. But obviously Clear Obscure won. I did vote for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Um, this is going to be another rant, but at least it's on topic this time. I feel like we have reached a time in our lives where RPG means nothing. Everything is an RPG at this point. RPG is supposed to stand for role playing game. I play a role in this game, and everybody plays a role in the game. So everybody's an RPG. Honestly, this nominee list could have been longer because everything that came out this year is technically a role playing game. And I'm saying this to say, as much as I love Claire Obscure, and again, think you guys deserved it. I think it was great. I wish we could get back to a time when RPG meant you creating or becoming your own character and playing through it as you through this game, which is what Kingdom Come Deliverance do. Yes, you play as Henry technically, but all of the actions and stuff you do are yours. You're not like story bound. Versus Clair Obscure, to my understanding, is a very story bound and driven game where you can't just explore and go off and make your own choices or do your own things aside from like the couple of choices. I don't know, because then I feel the same way when it comes to Destiny in a way. But at least Destiny, you had a lot more choices that carried over into the next stories. It wasn't like a reset the next time. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I feel like if you say an RPG, it should be a game to which you actually get to make decisions and do whatever you want, even if you play as another character. Like even a Legend of Zelda, The Breath of the Wild, I would consider that an RPG. Obviously it is, but I would consider that more of an RPG than Clair Obscure because even though I'm playing as Link, I still get to make my own decisions and choices and decide when I fight, when I do this, when I do that. And yes, there are story beats and points that I could see, but if I don't want to see it, I'm not forced to follow it because I am role playing. So I get to play the role. Does that make sense? I feel like that makes sense. So that's why I chose Kingdom Come Deliverance. It wasn't anything bad that Claire Obscure did. And again, I do think that it's an amazing game. So get your tea and flowers. But for me, Kingdom Come 2 out of this lineup gave me more role playing than Claire Obscure. All right, next up is best fighting game. I will not have much to say because I really didn't know many fighting games came out this year. So it was 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection, 2 Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I knew that wasn't going to win that trash. Anyways, Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage. I put in 2XKO. I have seen things about it. I heard that it was a really fun game. So I just chose that, but it ended up being Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, and I hear that's even better. So congrats to them. I don't really have much to say on that. Aside from the Mortal Kombat series, you had such an opportunity and somehow you made it into a microtransaction mess. So I was surprised to see this nominated, but also I knew that that wasn't going to win because the Mortal Kombat community does not like what the game has done to it. So yeah. All right, next up is best family game. Now, I will tell you, as someone who is a Nintendo fanny girly but also loves family party fun games, I have a couple of critiques. um, the nominees were Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Mario Kart, Lego Voyagers, Sonic Racing, Crossroads, and Split Fiction. Now, this was very hard for me because I love every single thing that I just said. I love every single game of what I just said. Um, I personally, with heavy heart, chose Split Fiction just because of how amazing the game was, the story was, the co-op of it was. I thought it was a phenomenal game. Um but Donkey Kong Bonanza ended up winning. And here's my thing. Yes, I'm extremely happy it won something. Doug Bowser ended up taking the award. This is the first time I've seen this man in 5 years. Little side tangent about Nintendo. Remember when Reggie was the head of the Nintendo of America, and every time there was a Nintendo Direct, he was actually involved in like releasing games and like did interviews and stuff like that. And then ever since Doug Bowser took over, I have yet to hear a single thing from a single American representative whenever there's a Nintendo Direct. I just feel like it became less fun for us in the US. I feel like it's a blast for the other countries because they actually have their representatives involved. But I just don't know why Doug Bowser, especially since I thought that his name, he was chosen because of his name. I don't know why he's just not more present. That was just my side thing. Anyways, here's my thought. I was so shocked because this was a very stacked award nominee list given everything, especially since there was a lot of beef between Sonic Racing and Sonic Racing Crossroads and Mario Kart World. For those that don't know, people thought that Mario Kart World was really boring because it was very slow paced in the open world and there really wasn't much for you to do aside from racing. Also, you can't do 200cc, and you can't do 200cc reversed in Mario Kart World, which is a very big staple in Mario Kart land. And so Sonic Racing Crossroads came out and absolutely demolished Mario Kart World in sales and in publicity. And so I feel like people really thought that this was going to be Sonic's time to really beat Mario. But little did we know, Donkey Kong came out this year and was like, really came out the woodworks and was just like, who? And good on them for saying that. I didn't really care about the beef either or. Me personally, and this is going to be coming from someone, and this is my own personal opinion, I do not disagree with other people's opinion about the open world being boring and dull and not a lot of things going on, but I personally like that in a racing game. I thought it was very cozy and comforting. I don't know what you want to happen, like bloopers hit you every 5 seconds. I don't know. I feel like people were looking forward for this to be like a Forza or something, right? Where it's like high speed top racing and wacky zaniness, or like this was going to be like a F-Zero or something, right? And in reality, I thought it was a really fun, like, drive around the lands, like car ride situation where there's like a whole bunch of hidden secrets and stuff that you could do and play. I quite enjoyed it, but I do agree for those that like a little bit more high paced, fun, actiony stuff that you would want more things to be done in the open world, especially since the game was like $80, unless you got the bundle pack. Which leads into another marketing side rant that I don't have the time, energy, or patience to get into right now. But just know that the bundle pack with the Mario Kart and the Switch 2 release was very strategic. Do not think that they are dumb, because I did see some people online being like, they should have launched Donkey Kong Bonanza with Switch 2. There's a reason why they did Mario Kart the way that they did. Nintendo is a very smart company, and I like I feel like people forget that Nintendo was a gaming company first and foremost, and all these other gaming companies were other companies before they became gaming companies. Like Nintendo came out the gate making Hanafuda, which is a very popular card game played in Japan. So their origin is making games. That is their origin story. Sega is Sega. I could go into the history of it all, but just know I was not surprised that Mario Kart didn't win. I also, as someone who's seen the gameplay of Sonic Crossworlds, right, it's a very fun game. But just as I quite enjoy Mario Kart World for what it is, I feel like Sonic Crossworlds is very overstimulating. And so I feel like it really divided the gaming community into those that like more slow paced things and those that need to have Subway Surfers while they listen to somebody talk about drama that's going on. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. Get your information in your tea the way that you need to. But it was just a lot. It was a lot, bestie. Like, can we slow down? Also, let's sit and think here for a moment. Like, so why does Sonic need a car? Why does Tails need a car? Honestly, canonically speaking, when it comes to the Sonic universe, Tails is a lot faster than Sonic, but nobody talks about it. Also, Tails was the one to teach Sonic how to do the little roll the ball spin, and also Tails learned how to do the propeller thing with his tail, so he could keep up with Sonic, and he could actually outrun and outspeed Sonic. So, anyways, other things. Back to the thing. I love that Donkey Kong won something. I'm glad that he won. However, when I hear a family game, I think that a family game at minimum should be at least a two and up player game. And as much as technically Donkey Kong Bonanza is a two-player game because you can play as Pauline and like shout things and like use your words and stuff. I feel like that's the same as what Mario Galaxy used to do. Me and my sister used to play Mario Galaxy growing up. Mario Galaxy 2, which is why I'm so excited the movie's coming out. Um but playing as player 2 is like okay because yeah you get to shoot the little sprites or whatever but you're really not playing the game. Like this is one of those big brother like this is one of those big sister little sister like big brother little brother games where like you give your little brother the controller and he's like I'm helping and like really he's not but like yeah he helps a little bit. um Versus some of these other games are a lot more co-op friendly, which is why I chose Split Fiction instead of Donkey Kong Bonanza, which again broke my heart. But I just felt like when it comes to a co-op game, that is such a gorgeous co-op game that I could see not only like the two kids playing the game but like the parents watching with them and like actually getting involved in the narrative and stuff. Lego Party was a very close second to me, especially since now I've had the opportunity to play it myself. For those that don't know, if you have Netflix you can play Lego Party on Netflix for free. um I don't like the controls because you have to control on the phone, but overall I think it's really fun. Love the commentators. They remind me a lot of the commentators for the finals. And yeah. Oh, and Lego Voyager. If you want to see a very cute, heartwarming game or playthrough or play it with someone else, Lego Voyagers is so stinking cute. So yeah, no notes for the nominees. I think everyone deserves to be here. I'm not surprised that Donkey Kong Bonanza. Actually, I am. I'm very surprised that Donkey Kong Bonanza won. I really thought it would be Sonic Racing due to the conflict that was going on between Sonic Racing and Mario Kart. But congrats, Donkey Kong. And I'm sorry, Split Fiction. It was just a very stacked year. All right, next up we have Best Sim Strategy, we have Final Fantasy Tactics, we have Jurassic World 3, we have Sid Meier's Civilization, we have The Tempest Rising, we have The Alters, and we have Two Point Museum. Now, I thought Two Point Museum had it in the bag. If you don't know what Two Point Museum is, you haven't been on the internet for the past couple of months. Two Point Museum really took over. Two Point Museum is a new entry into the Two Point series. They are very similar to like a tycoon manager or like a roller coaster tycoon or something of that nature. But they really had their big one to the point where I even considered getting Two Point Museum, even though those sort of games aren't my jimmy jam, but just the way that it looked really cool and fun. I'm still debating on getting it for the place for the Switch 2 because it's out on the Switch 2 and I think the Switch 2 can absolutely handle it. But I don't know. I don't want to. It's $40, but I'm like I don't want to spend the $40 and then I don't end up playing the game or enjoying it at all. And I wish that the Switch had a return policy similar to Steam, where if you play a couple of hours and you don't like it, you return the game and get your money back. But I say that to say Final Fantasy ended up winning. The Final Fantasy girlies are not someone to play with, okay? They will play the same thing over and over again and tell you that it's new each time. And you don't question it. You like they're like, "Oh my god, this is the best fantasy game ever." And then as soon as you mention Chrono Trigger, you're out the group chat. You're booted off. Oh, the girlies that get it, the girlies that don't. Yeah, so congrats to Final Fantasy Tactics. I really didn't think you would beat out 2 Point Museum. I think that it was a little bit of a robbery because I do think again 2 Point Museum was that girl this year, and I really thought that it should have won. But I don't know enough about Final Fantasy Tactics to argue with the Final Fantasy girlies. All I know is that they probably needed this win because they can't vote for Final Fantasy 7 for the umpteenth time, even though it's the same game, but it's just adding in different CDs. Like imagine if imagine if you're playing a game and then it adds DLC and then it's back on the Game Awards because it added a DLC character. Like that's essentially how the Final Fantasy 7 remake has been rolling out, and I don't like that they've been nominated like 3 years in a row and even won certain awards even though it's the same game and it's already out. Another rant for another day. Congrats, Final Fantasy girlies. I don't feel like arguing with you. I don't feel like fighting you. I don't want to tussle. It's the holidays. So I will go into the next category. All right, my thoughts on this are going to be real fast. Best sports and racing game. We have EA Sports FC 26, F1 25, Rematch, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and then we have Mario Kart World. Surprisingly, Mario Kart World won. Now, I don't know if this was a paid actress or not, or maybe the Sonic World girlies just didn't vote the way that they should have. But I genuinely thought that it was going to be Sonic Racing. However, like I said, I voted for Mario Kart World. I personally thought that Mario Kart World was really fun. I thought the characters were great. I thought the stages were real fun. I thought the open world mechanic of it and just being able to drive all through the areas and stuff was really dope. I just feel like the argument that it was empty wasn't really warranted. It's not empty. It's just, it's an experience. It's a journey. I could imagine like if you're able to hook up the Mario Kart world to your VR set and just driving through and just like in real time seeing the sceneries and sights would be really dope. And like I said, as much as I like Sonic Crossroads and thought it was great, it was just way too much for me. I would never be able to play that game. Um yeah, that was just way, 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 way too much. So yeah, congrats Mario Kart World. Glad on you. All right, and now we get to best multiplayer game, and this is where I was like, huh? That don't make no damn sense. We have Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction. You heard me, right? Arc Raiders is here. For those that don't know, Arc Raiders and the finals are made by the same company. So with Embark Studios. There we go. It's made by Embark Studios. So I was in here up until this point, right? I was like, I guess they don't know Embark. I guess the finals really I guess they don't really know the girl. I thought she was the it girl this year. I thought she was the it girl last year, but especially this year, especially since Arc Raiders came out. But Arc Raiders came out not too long ago, so maybe they just didn't hit the cutoff. So when I saw Best Multiplayer, I saw Arc Raiders were here. I was like, oh, so you just don't like the finals? What did she do to you? What's the tea? What's the drama? I don't know. But her creators being nominated and not the finals made me feel like, oh, so you do know Embark. You just purposely did not invite the finals to the show. Um, so the finals, Arc Raiders won as they should. I think it's a phenomenal game. I think they brought back the joy of what looter shooters could be, and I feel like you're probably healing the gun and ball community. Possibly, I don't think so, but like I feel like you're healing people into believing that you could actually trust your teammates and not kill them. And it's not all about killing. It could be about just enjoying the land of Speranza and collecting stuff and gearing up and playing with friends and meeting new friends and teaming up with them and betrayals because that happens too. Excuse me. I don't know. I was just very happy. Even when the announcer was saying the things, um, when it got to Arc Raiders, there was just a huge roar. So I'm like, oh, they actually have a chance. That being said, I did think that Peak was also a really fun, cozy game to play with other friends. Basically, Peak is about you climbing a mountain with friends, and it's sort of similar to like wibbly wobbly mechanics with it, but it's actually really cute. And then Split Fiction again. I feel so bad, girl. I like. the amount of nominations that Split Fiction has, I feel like says a lot. I just wish that she had a win. And I genuinely do not think that there was a win as I'm going through the list right now. But if I'm wrong, then great. But like, I really think that Split Fiction was an amazing game. I think maybe it just came out in the wrong year to get the full recognition it deserves. Um, but yeah, on to the next. All right, and now we're on Best Adaptation, recognizing outstanding creative work that faithfully and authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. So there was a Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell, Death Watch, Until Dawn, and The Last of Us 2. Now, hear me out. I watched a Minecraft movie actually, and what I will say is, if it wasn't for Jennifer Coolidge, I would have walked out of that movie theater. And Jennifer Coolidge only came out for like 5 minutes out of the entirety of that movie. I think that they had an idea, right, and then they took that idea and threw it out the window and said, let's just have fun with this, boys. And somehow it worked for them in a way, because I think it was a really high grossing movie, mainly because kids kept going to it in the chicken jockey thing. I don't know. But I voted for Devil May Cry. I have seen the animation and heard nothing but great things for Devil May Cry, the anime. Um, but The Last of Us season 2 one, I'm not surprised. I think that it's great. I agree. I think The Last of Us is a great series, a great game. Have I won the favor of you guys yet? And quite honestly, I feel like it will be nearly impossible, because companies will do the impossible. Um, but I feel like it's near impossible to mess up something as The Last of Us, because it's realistic. Like, the realism of the game you could easily adapt into a show. And there are many like it, like Life is Strange and like other things like that, so I don't disagree. um I think that is very fair and valid. I think The Last of Us 2 makes sense. But I just voted for Devil May Cry because I just knew more about it. um and I don't know why the Minecraft movie is on here. It must have been, I don't know how much cash you got, but it must have been a lot to be nominated, because it was not a good movie. Um it was not a good movie. All right, and I hope that this is the last one. If not, we're getting close to the end. But most anticipated game, we have 007 First Light, we have Grand Theft Auto 6, GTA 6. We have Marvel's Wolverine, we have Resident Evil Requiem, and then we have The Witcher 6. For a second I was about to say 5, and I'm like, that's not right. The Witcher 6. And so the winner of was obviously GTA 6. Honestly, I think that this game is going to win until it inevitably comes out. When, we don't know. I'm not rushing the process. I just feel like the hype around this, like, here's my thing. I hope that every GTA girl and guy and gay and they gets everything they want out of this game, so we can move on, so that we could enjoy other games and we could have the opportunity to be excited about other things. Because the amount of times that people will reference GTA 6 this year was a lot. And I know that, like, even if it's the perfect game, y'all are going to find something to complain about, because nothing will be satisfying enough, because nothing is going to be GTA 5. Nothing's going to be San Andreas. Like, nothing's going to beat it. So I can't, like, I don't want to hear the noise when it comes out. It's going to be a lot. Like, I think Tomodachi Vacation's coming out next year. I'm gonna need that for whenever GTA 6 comes out, because it's I truly hope it is everything you want and need in life. I hope Venus really does blow your mind. I hope it was everything you wanted to find. I don't want you to miss me while you were looking out there. I want y'all to stay in your bubble, because I don't want y'all to, because I know for a fact it's going to be a mediocre game with some really great Unreal Engine visuals, and y'all are gonna put it up on a pedestal and be like, this is the best game since sliced bread. Everything else has been trashed since then. Ball and Gun will come together with GTA fandom, and they will unite in the most toxic behavior possible. Y'all probably shit on the female character because you guys don't like women, and then it's just I just see it. I see it, and then there will be another good game that is actually quite better, and then y'all are gonna like start dunking on that community who's just trying to live and survive and live their best life. And I've seen it. I've played the fool before. I've seen it all before. I don't want to go through it again. So I'm just going to get my nice little cozy game huddle and probably be offline when GTA 6 comes out, and come back when the storm is over, because like and the shots that will be fired, like, they'll come after Animal Crossing if they need to. Like, I just want to play Stardew Valley in peace, sir. Like, why are you yelling at me because I went with Sebastian in that your game is better because you guys get to drive car? Ooh, like I feel like there's been so many other GTA games alike. Like I'm going to leave it there. I personally voted for 007 for Slight. I thought that that got a lot more hype having a 007 game come out after eons. I think it's going to look great. Seeing the trailer though, I was a little bit iffy. I can't wait to see more on it, but yeah. All right, and now we're on to the dreaded content creator of the year. For those that don't know, people don't really want to win content creator of the year for the Game Awards because every single entry person that has won has been harassed in levels and ways in which they wish that they have never been nominated or won the game awards in general. However, Moist Critical won, and I feel like he could take it, and also his fandom is wholesome enough to actually fight the bad actors. And I haven't seen anything negative in that regard. So the nominees were Kadrill, Kai Sanat, Moist Critical, Sakura Miku, and the Burnt Peanut. I was actually a little bit surprised the Burnt Peanut didn't win, but I'm happy that he didn't win because it has been like a yearly curse in a way that if it was a new gamer entry into the round and they won that, like, do y'all remember what happened with Casio? Do y'all remember what happened with that VTuber girl, Iron Mouse, I believe, when Iron Mouse run? Like I just didn't want Burr Peanut to have that smoke. I think that Moist Critical can handle it and could also roast the people who roast him back. Not saying that the Burr Peanut couldn't. I just feel like Moist Critical has such a historied career that he could take whatever backlash will come versus a more smaller or new creator that is reaching a broader audience. So yeah, on to the next. All right, best esports game. Really don't have much to say here. It's Counter Strike 2, it's Dota, it's League of Legends, it's Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and it's Valorant. I chose Valorant because I was so surprised my sister actually knows how to play Valorant. That was a fun surprise this year. Though I don't really care about. I don't want to say it like in a negative. I don't play esports games like that or at all. So Counter Strike 2 winning, I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I'm surprised that League of Legends and Dota did not win because I know that they have always been going back to back. But yeah, on to the next. All right, and we are now on best esports athlete. We have Brock for Valorant. We have Chovy for League of Legends. We have Forsaken for Valorant. We have Kakaru for Street Fighter. We have Menard for Street Fighter, and we have Ziwu Counter Strike. I voted for. Oh, actually, I did. I did vote for Truvy. I was like, did I vote for Truvy? Because I've heard and seen of Truvy. I was actually a little bit surprised that he was here. Um, but yeah, Juvie won. Congrats to you. He does League of Legends. I try not to be in the esports scenes anymore. I used to be really into it when I was in college, but there's like a backstory to that, which neither here nor there. But I used to be a part of it. I used to really be in it. I used to like watch competitions and everything when I was in college, but then an experience happened which made me really back away from the scene. Um, just I feel like there was a time in which gaming community was very welcoming to women, and maybe I'm just in the wrong spaces at times. But just know it's not always sunshine and rainbows in sunflowers for us women who genuinely love to game without having to deal with this stereotypical like you don't game because you don't know it's obscure. You know what I mean? This the garbage of it all. Anyways, I'm going on to the next category. All right, best esports team. We have Jin G, we have NRG, we have Team Falcons, we have Team Vitality, and we have Team Liquid PH. I voted for Team Falcons. However, Team Vitality won. I have heard great things about Team Vitality. Congrats to y'all. But I just thought that Team Falcons would have won, especially since it was for Dota. But congrats to y'all, Team Vitality. Continue playing. All right. And I think this is the last one. It is the last one. So last but certainly not least, the player's voice. This is when the games that are brought up for the nominations are 100% fans. And then out of the fan ones, we vote for who wins. And so we have Claire Obscure, Expedition 33. We have Dispatch, we have Genshin Impact, we have Hollow Knight Silksong, and we have Wuthering Waves. And the winner is Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves was going to win one way or another, girly, and they have done it. Um, do not do not underestimate the gotcha girls. Honestly, I was surprised that Genshin Impact had really been dethroned, but I mean, they both sort of win and lose at the same time because people are going to pay for their new games anyway. But yeah, I was very surprised that the Clear Obscure girlies didn't win. Now, what I will say is that Clear Obscure already won a whole bunch of stuff, but I think that this was really just showing how strong of a fandom it is. And honestly, I feel like the Wuthering Waves community is part of the K-pop community, and so we know how to we know how to vote. So yeah, that is the end of my thoughts on the players voice on the Game Awards 2025. And for those that have decided to stick around for my extra little rant, you are welcome. But also thank you. If you decide to end here, thank you for watching up until this point. This is probably going to be another long video. I don't know how and when to shut up sometimes, but this is my video, this is my YouTube, and I get to do whatever I want. It's my comfy corner. Um But thank you for listening to my Rebels and Rambles. I hope that you guys enjoyed the Game Awards as much as I did. I think that this year was real great. I thought the Miss Piggy bit was real great, but I do miss the like two commentator Muppets. I think ever since that last incident, they probably got kicked off. Um, and overall, I thought the Game Awards was real great. I thought the orchestral performances were great. I thought that Claire Obscure winning so many awards and just the emotion behind it was real great. I was surprised that Donkey Kong Bonanza won some stuff and Mario Kart won some stuff. Real great surprises, real great trailers. I'll probably talk about trailers and stuff another time. Probably like my top 5 games I'm excited for next year. Who knows? Um, and yeah, with that being said, please like, comment, and tell me what you thought about the Game Awards, your thoughts, opinions, and feelings. Please be nice. Please don't bully me. These are my opinions and my opinions alone. Also, please don't sue me. Um, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. But bonus, stick around. My thoughts and ribbles and rants about the Game Awards this year versus the years prior. All right, here's bonus little ribble ramble. If you made it this far, thanks. Here's my little tidbit. I think that this year was definitely Claire Obscure's year. The fact that y'all even started off the Game Awards by doing an intro of one of Claire Obscure's soundtracks was something new. But what I don't want people to forget, right, is I've seen a lot of like, oh yeah, Claire Obscure sweat better than Baldur's Gate. Claire Obscure is better. Listen, Claire Obscure came out at a great time. I'm not saying that there wasn't a lot of competition, but me and you, between us little squirrel friends right now, okay? Game of the year. I mean, cause y'all forgot about how big of a big. First off, they did a whole trailer at the end of the Game Awards and got hype just by your name, just by your logo. Do you know how insane in the membrane? First off, Baldur's Gate ran so that way Claire Obscure could be Claire Obscure. Like, I won't even say fly because I don't think he did better than Bold. It's not a competition, but if it was, Claire Obscure, you have to sashay away. Baldur's Gate won they won. Okay, but I just for memory's sake, as much as I just gushed a lot about in this video, Claire Obscure, again, congrats, you deserve it. What I don't want is for gamers to really forget their history and forget what happened with Baldur's Gate 3. Because I saw a couple, way too many people haha kikiing on social media and on YouTube talking about, oh yeah, Claire Obscure is technically better than Baldur's Gate. Larian need to do something, and yeah, they needed to drop Divinity because they were scared. They were shook about Claire Obscure. Shook about who? Shook where? What you say? She ain't no diva. Let's look at the competition that Claire Obscure had this year for just best game for game of the year, because this will be important. Game of the year was Claire Obscure, and they went up against Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Six Song, and Kingdom Come Deliverance. Very stacked year. Not saying that they didn't have a little tussle, but overall, very stacked year. Some very big AAA games. You beat Donkey Kong Bonanza. Do you know how strong the DK fandom is? I'm a part of it. They are very strong, right? Hades 2, you beat Silk Song. People have been waiting years for Silk Song. Death Stranding, I'm pretty sure someone out there is yelling and balling their fist up in the air, right? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, also really big game. I get it. So it was a little bit of a stacked year, but it wasn't a brick house stack. It was like a Lego brick stack. Let me tell you, let me Google it in real time for y'all, because y'all want to play with my girl Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm not gonna let y'all have it. Baldur's Gate 3 Game Awards. That was 2023. Okay. Baldur's Gate 3 or Game Awards 2023 winners, which was basically the Baldur's Gate year, right? Right. Right. Hold on. Let me do this for y'all because y'all are playing with my girl. Y'all are playing with my girl. Let's go to the winners. Let's go to the winners. Hold on. No, no, give me the nominees because we're not playing with them. Y'all are getting real time right now. Winners and nominees. Blah 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 blah. All right. So the nominees for the 2023 Game of the Year Awards. Now, remember what I just said before, but the 2023 Baldur's Gate Year Award Game Awards was Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2. Y'all don't remember how crazy Alan Wake 2 went. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mario Bros. Wonder, Resident Evil 4. And also honorable mention to the Hogwarts game, which everyone completely forgot about and or did not care for. But this was a very stacked year. A very stacked year. The DLC for Cyberpunk 2077 came out that year. Liza P came out that year. What else came out that year? Hi-Fi Rush came out that year. Dead Space came out that year. And this isn't even all of the games. 2023 was a very beautiful gaming year. Apex Legends. What are we talking about? Honkai Real came out that. I mean, it wasn't going to be on the top. But like Ghost Runner 2. I'm just scrolling. Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars came out that year. Do you know how crazy Sea of Stars went? Starfield, I feel like it's very funny that Starfield was there. Actually, I just want to say that because girlies that get that joke get it. The girlies that don't. But Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 came out that year. Pikmin 4. It went up against a very, very stacked year. And so I am saying this to say, as much as Clear Obscure, you won it, you got it. Let's not forget our history. Let's not forget that Baldur's Gate really was that girl and still is. And Larian Studios really is doing the work because I saw just way too many keys and cocks about Claire Obscure being better than Baldur's Gate 3 because they had the opening or whatever. Baldur's Gate 3 was going up against monsters and swept. When I say swept, that thing was sparkling clean. There was no dust left, no crumbs. The mouse are dead. You know why? Because there's no crumbs to eat. Okay. So with that being said, congrats, Claire Obscure. I know that it wasn't you guys that were saying it. I just wanted to like get my gamer historian out because don't play with Baldur's Gate 3. Don't play with Baldur's Gate 3. It went up against the biggest releases that we have seen in the past 5 years and won. It went up against Legend of Zelda. Let's think that in for a second. Legend of Zelda. It beat Legend of Zelda. It beat Alan Wake 2, and y'all were eating Alan Wake 2 up. I didn't get it, but y'all were eating that up like it was spaghetti. Y'all, Spider-Man 2. And those were just the nominees. 2023 was a stacked year. Honestly, I could really pull up the list of the games, but I won't because I want this episode. I want this video to end. But I can't wait for Larian Studios Divinity. As much as the trailer was very bloody and gory, I may try it or may have someone else just vet it for me first before I play. But don't forget, never forget, Larian Studios is that girl. And Claire Obscure could be at the same level, but if this was Kendrick versus Drake, I feel like we all know now who's Kendrick and who's Drake. Or who's J. Cole. Honestly, I don't want to make anybody Drake in this scenario. They could be J. Cole at this point. They need a little bit more skin in the game. All right, and if you made it to this end point and we're here for my little chuckle, also 2023 Dave the Diver came out. I'm pretty sure, and so I won't get into that rant. Yeah, it did. I still don't like that Sea of Stars beat Dave the Diver, and I disagree. But the girls that know that rant know it. The girls that don't. And so, with that being said, I'm gonna go and rest and enjoy. I don't know when this video comes out, but whenever it comes out, I hope you're having a great day, night, afternoon. And thank you for listening to all my Rebels and Rambles. Comment what you feel about the Game Awards of 2025 and all your thoughts and opinions and feelings. And I will see you in the next video and in the next year. Bye.